Hello everybody, this is JB and this week's Football Weekly comes to you on the road this week. We're in sunny Clitheroe, well not so sunny Clitheroe this week, as we bring you the up-to-date stories of the week's football and we preview the start of the Premier League, which starts tomorrow night. Hello everybody, JB here, coming to you from Clitheroe Castle. This is the view you get from the top here. We're right at the top of it. Pendle Hill there, and that's the town of Clitheroe, where we are based today for this episode of the Football Weekly. Another 15 minutes of football news, views and previews to get you through the week. Hello everybody, JB here with the lovely Clitheroe Castle in the background here, bringing you this week's Football Weekly. We're on the road today because we're in sunny, as I've just explained. We're in Clitheroe as well. One thing I didn't mention on that last intro, on that last bit, Clitheroe Football Club is over there, so you can see their stadium. You can actually see, on a clear day you can see Pendle Hill, and on a clear day you can see the Yorkshire Dales. But it is a little bit cloudy overhead anyway. So what we're going to talk about today, we're going to talk about the start of the Premier League and mainly about the championship chances of Liverpool, Manchester City, Arsenal and Chelsea and a couple of others, and the relegation fight, which will probably involve the three promoted teams, Burnley, Leeds and Sunderland. Also we'll review last night's Super Cup because that's relevant to the Premier League as well, and also we'll eulogise over a cracking goal scored in the Carabao Cup last night, scored by Gustavo Hamers for Sheffield United against Birmingham City. All that to come, but let's start with last night's Super Cup and Tottenham Hotspur, because they're Burnley's first opponents on Saturday, and last night they played in Udine in Italy in the UEFA Super Cup. Now Spurs really played well last night actually, but they went on to lose on penalties. Spurs went 2 up, Van der Ven and Sissoko scoring for them, and then they were comfortable. They were watching the highlights back last night on BBC, I thought they were very, very comfortable. And then for some unaccountable reason, with 6 minutes left to play, they contrived to give 2 silly goals away, which let PSG right back in it, and it finished 2, and it ended up being 2-2 at the end, and we had to have those penalty shootouts. PSG missed the first one, Spurs scored, and then contrived to miss 2 penalties in the shootout, and PSG didn't miss a single one of the next 4 and won on penalties. Now what does that signify for Tottenham? Well, it signifies they've had a very hard game in midweek, and also it signifies the fact that the players now have had a game to play. They're going to be tired. They've got a flight coming back tonight, this morning from Italy. Then they've got to go out to Spurs, go out to the training ground and prepare for Saturday against Burnley. As for PSG, it's a nice bit of compensation for missing out on the Club World Cup in the summer when Chelsea totally outplayed them, and so I think it'll be, you know, I think PSG will still conquer all in France, but they've won the Champions League. They've got to defend it this time round. Winning it is one thing, defending it is quite another. So that's my take on the Super Cup last night. I thought the Super Cup actually is a spectacle. I only watched 20-30 minute highlights. I thought it was a good game of football. But now it takes me on to now obviously the goal of the night wasn't in any of the Super Cup games. It was in one of the Carabao Cup ties I actually watched live last night. I watched on TV Birmingham against Sheffield United. Birmingham were the better team on the day and won the game 2-1. But the highlight of the match was halfway through the second half. Now Gus Hamers, it's just over the halfway line, so it's about 5 yards over the halfway line where Hamers shoots. It's almost, you know, it's just like dead centre, and he's hit it from about, as I say, must have been about 50 yards, 60 yards, and he's caught James Beadle, who must have been way off his line. So Beadle wasn't about last night, was he? and he caught him out, and it was a superb goal. It was a thrilling goal. But Birmingham won it, and Benashi and Jay Stansfield with the goals there. It was a good cup game. It was a throwback cup game, and the League Cup gets a lot of knockers, knockers from people and criticism from people. But you know what? I'm here to tell you that was an enjoyable cup game, and very much a very good one as well. The draw was also made last night. The game of the round, I have to say, will be Grimsby at home to Manchester United. I mean, Manchester United are taking part in the second round for the first time in 12 years. So that's so there is a rarity there, because Manchester United traditionally are always playing in Europe, aren't they? So they usually don't come until the third round of any cup competition. But they are now playing in the early stages, the second round, for the first time in something like 11 years. Burnley's reward for Burnley have also got a draw. We've had about 10 away draws on the bounce. It's going to stay 10 because we've drawn Derby County at home in the cup. So I'm quite pleased with that. But whatever we do on the night, we've got to be professional and just take care of business. Anyway, speaking of business, the proper start to the season really begins on Saturday. Yes, we've had the EFL starting in the last couple of weeks, and we had the Community Shield, so we've had some good football already played. But the real season, it begins properly for real. The top flight gets underway Saturday this weekend. Tomorrow night, in fact, Liverpool play Bournemouth. What a game that promises to be, I have to tell you. Liverpool, the champions, deservedly so, although they labour towards the end. Honestly, I mean, Liverpool should be there or thereabouts. I still think they'll win the title. They lost the Community Shield when they're well positioned against Crystal Palace. But that might not be a bad thing, because Liverpool, when a team loses the Community Shield match, invariably they go on and win the title. So I wouldn't worry too much, Liverpool fans. They've had to do in a lot of new signings. Of course, it's been a turbulent summer as well, with the sad death of Diogo Jota as well. But you know what, though, I think Liverpool too will I think once they've bedded in, I think there'll be a sight to fear and enjoy. So I still think Liverpool will win the league, but not by as big a margin as it was last season. A couple of Arsenal should be there or thereabouts. They've signed Victor Gyökeres. That's a big plus for them. They've got a number 9 now, something they didn't have last season. I think they will probably win something this year. No, maybe not the league, but definitely one of the cups. Carabao or FA Cup. I would love them to win some silverware. They have a good, entertaining side. Mikel Arteta's had a few years now. I think they're due to win some silver. I just don't think they're ready to win the Premier League title just yet. But they've got the number 9. They've got a raft of very good signings. But if they win the league, I'll be delighted for them, because they're a super little team, and I like watching them play. Chelsea, I think they've improved a lot under Enzo Maresca. In my Premier League predictions a few weeks ago, I was a bit harsh giving them 7th place, but I have to base it on last season as well as possibly this season, and plus also you ally the fact that we haven't made any moves in the transfer window at that point. But what I will say is, I think they could get in the top 4. There's no doubt about it. Then you've got Newcastle. Can they balance the rigours of Champions League football with the Premier League, with the rigours of the Premier League? They haven't really made any signings. They tried for Trafford for many weeks until City swooped in and paid the release clause. They have also they've also had to fend off bids from Liverpool now, but Liverpool actually didn't want Alexander Isak, it turns out, because they wanted to unsettle him, there's now a bit of a rift between Isak and Newcastle, which could derail their season before it's even begun. Now, Newcastle were very good last season with Isak firing on all cylinders. They won the Carabao and everything else, but I just worry about them this term. Are they going to blow up, or are they going to do something really good? We don't know. But anyhow, it's been you know what, despite everything, Eddie Howe now will be forever revered on Tyneside. He's, you know, what he's done at that football club will never be surpassed for a long time, you know, because he's won them a trophy. That's what the Newcastle fans craved all those years. They finally won one last season. You know what, I wouldn't put it past them doing it again, but we just don't know, do we? But you know, you can't be too sure, can you? Manchester United should improve under Ruben Amorim. They've no European football to worry about. I think they'll be okay. I think they'll finish around about the top 5. I think they're good enough to do that. Yeah, Aston Villa should be there or thereabouts. Unai Emery's got a very good squad. If he can keep on to the hold of the likes of Ollie Watkins and Morgan Rogers and several of the others, then I think they've got a decent chance. But that's just the top 7 I've focused on. Everton should have a decent season at their new venue. Wouldn't rule them out for a run in the cups or whatever. I think they'll improve under David Moyes, get into the top 10 certainly. Now the relegation scrap's going to be very, very big. You've got probably 4 or 5 teams in there. Definitely, I think Fulham might be in it. I don't know why. I know they had a good season last year. Fulham fans, before you start slating me, this is nothing personal, right? It's just business. It's just how I think. I don't think Fulham have made any significant waves in the transfer window. I might be wrong. Bournemouth, I've lost a lot of players. They've lost £160 million worth of talent, and I don't know if Ariola's replaced any of them yet. Again, Bournemouth fans, don't get at me. And the team I worry most about out the established lot are Brentford as well. They've got an untried manager in Keith Andrews. They've sold in Birmingham. They could sell. They've sold. I think they've sold. You know, there might be possibility they're selling another 2 or 3 of their best players. And I worry for Brentford. I think they could go. I really do think they could go. As for the 3 promoted teams, Leeds really haven't done much in the window, but I still think they've got a decent backbone of a squad. They haven't sold anybody significantly, so that could help them a little bit. They've got Dan James, who's a Premier League experience. He's had that Premier League experience and grounding at Manchester United, so he's going to be key for their chances. Sunderland have spent well over £100 million on players. Most notably, they brought in former Arsenal man Granit Xhaka for experience. I still think they'll go down. I'm still sticking with my bottom 3: Brentford, Fulham and Sunderland to go down. I think Leeds and Burnley are probably better equipped than any of those 3 to stay in the division. As for Burnley, finally, what do I think of Burnley's chances? I tell you what, after Tottenham last night, I wouldn't rule us out getting a point on Saturday. But Burnley, I mean, we've made some really good signings. I think it's encouraging. We've signed Dubravka in goal. Yes, he's 36, and a lot of people said he's a bit of an old hag, including myself. But you look at what he did in the cup last year for Newcastle. He made some key saves, which got Newcastle to the final, and they ultimately won the trophy. So, you know, he's won a trophy, so he knows what it takes. He's signed on a 1-year deal. I think he'll do well for us. Also, I think Broja, that we've brought in, I think he's a very good player. Leslie, I don't know his last name. Can't pronounce his last name. That Leslie fella, also from Chelsea. We bought them 2 for the combined 45 million. I think they're great players. I think they'll do okay. Fantastic. Well, the big one for me at the moment was Kyle Walker. I mean, where they put Kyle Walker from, God only knows. But when it was announced, I thought it was an April Fool's joke. I thought, hang on, April Fool's was like 3, 4, 5 months ago. What's going on here? But it turns out it wasn't an April Fool's gag, and you know, disappointing news that we've lost Brownhill, the captain, and Trafford, the goalkeeper. I think we could have done better with Josh Brownhill. I really do think. I think we could have got £10 million more for James Trafford. But having said all that, the players that we've brought in have sort of counterbalanced that a bit. So I can't be too critical of the board, really. I can't be critical of Scott Parker or anybody, really, considering the business that we've just done. Scott Parker's not ruling out any more summer moves because the window's still got well over, 2 weeks to go. So I wouldn't rule out Fella Clarets, another few signings possibly coming through the door, because Scott Parker's already mentioned that there's money to spend and yada yada yada. So, you know, watch this space. But I'm telling you now, I think Burnley, have got a great chance of staying up. Anyway, thank you for watching this special edition of the Football Weekly. We'll be probably back at base next week, but I thought we'd bring it on the road today, bring it to Clitheroe. It's lovely, isn't it? I will finish with this shot as well. It's lovely. If we zoom in there, you get to see the cement works. There's the cricket club, and over there, if you can see it, floodlights, that's Clitheroe Football Club. Fantastic, fantastic. And that's where we're going to leave it, folks. Thank you very much for watching the show, and we'll see you probably back at home base next week anyway. Have a fantastic week, and I'll see you next week for another Football Weekly. Take care. From me, JB. Take care. Bye bye.